About a year ago, I made a video talking about the most dangerous site on the dark web, a place called Silk Road. This website was basically the black market of the internet. Anything illegal, forbidden, or insanely dangerous, you could find it there. Every shady deal imaginable was happening through that site. And the craziest part? Every time international agencies like Interpol got close to catching the people behind it, the site would disappear for a while, then suddenly come back weeks or months later, stronger than ever. According to some sources, the people backing this site had influence bigger than entire governments. Silk Road was considered untouchable. A red line. Anyone who got too close to it, or messed with the wrong people connected to it, could literally vanish off the face of the earth. Now imagine all of that power and fear, and then imagine one guy managing to steal over $3 billion from that site. Even crazier. The owner of Silk Road, one of the most dangerous figures the internet has ever known, personally contacted the hacker who stole the money and offered him a reward of 4,000 Bitcoin, millions of dollars, just to explain how he pulled it off. But the hacker refused. And the ending of this story? It's so absurd, so unbelievably stupid, that most people still can't process it. For those of you seeing me for the first time, I'm Abu Sadiq, and I talk about the strangest and darkest stories on Earth. And before we start today's story, don't forget, we're still boycotting, and we're staying committed. Today's story is about what might be the weirdest and dumbest hacker in history. A guy who played games with the biggest dark web marketplace in the world, stole insane amounts of money, lived like a king, then made one unbelievably stupid mistake that led investigators straight to a hidden treasure worth billions, all because of a hard drive that weighed less than 20 grams. Grab your coffee, and let's fly. Before we get into the story, you need to understand how Silk Road actually worked. Silk Road was one of the most infamous dark web marketplaces ever created. Think of it like Amazon, except everything on it was illegal. That's why secrecy was everything there. Cryptocurrency became the official currency of the dark web. Now it's time to meet today's main character, Jimmy Zhong. Jimmy was born in 1990 in Georgia, USA. By age 12, his parents divorced. He stayed with his mother, who bought him a computer. That computer changed everything. At 18, he was studying programming at the University of Georgia. One day, he discovered that the same work paid 10 times more on the dark web. So he entered that world. By 2010, Jimmy earned around $25,000. Then he made one mistake. He withdrew cash but left behind 40,000 Bitcoin. In 2011, Bitcoin exploded to $26 per coin. Suddenly, those forgotten coins were worth over $1 million. But when he logged back into Silk Road, his account was gone. Hacked. Deleted. So Jimmy returned determined to rebuild. And eventually, someone hired him for the impossible, hack Silk Road itself. At first Jimmy refused. Then an idea hit him: if he successfully hacked Silk Road, he'd become untouchable. The vulnerability was unbelievably stupid. The deposit and withdrawal buttons had no proper verification. If you clicked the deposit button multiple times before the page refreshed, the balance duplicated. Deposit $5, click repeatedly, receive $10. Jimmy couldn't believe it. He'd deposit Bitcoin into one account, abuse the duplication glitch, then withdraw the duplicated funds. By early 2013, Jimmy had accumulated 50,000 Bitcoin. Eventually, the admins realized someone was stealing. They launched a secret bug bounty program, but nobody found the flaw because everyone assumed the exploit had to be sophisticated. Then Silk Road hired elite hackers to identify the account. Within 20 days, They found Jimmy. The owner of Silk Road contacted him directly. Jimmy panicked and fled to the Bahamas. In October 2013, the site shut down after the founder was arrested. Jimmy escaped unnoticed. Jimmy alone controlled 50,000 Bitcoin. He started living like a billionaire. Private parties, luxury vacations, mansions. By 2018, with Bitcoin reaching high prices, Jimmy's fortune had exploded into billions. And then came the dumbest decision of his entire life. In 2019, Jimmy traveled with friends carrying a bag containing $700,000 in cash and a flash drive holding crypto worth over $1 million. After returning home, someone stole the bag. Now logically, if you're worth billions, you ignore the loss. But Jimmy got emotional. He called the police. Yes. The billionaire hacker who stole from Silk Road called the police over a robbery. And the moment investigators looked into his financial activity, everything unraveled. His lifestyle made no sense. His spending was absurd. In May 2021, 2 investigators visited his house pretending they had identified the thief. What Jimmy didn't know was that these were elite cybersecurity specialists. One of them distracted Jimmy while the other copied the contents of his computer. That's when they discovered the truth. Then they searched his house. Inside a popcorn tin, they found a tiny hard drive. That hard drive contained 50,000 Bitcoin, worth roughly $2.5 billion. All because a billionaire couldn't let go of losing $2 million. Jimmy Jeune was arrested. His assets were seized. And in April 2022, he was sentenced to just 2 years in prison. To this day, rumors claim he was quietly recruited into American cyber intelligence programs because of his abilities. And honestly, after hearing this story, who even knows anymore?